have a heightened amygdala.
Oh, amygdala. Oh, amygdala. Have mercy on the poor bastard.
From them before. Make sure everything's good. My turned up. Good. All right, cool. All right, ADD. Okay. Did you know anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the USA, affecting 40 million adults, 19.1 of the population, or 19.1% of the population, age 18 and older every year. Wow. That's a lot of people. 40 million people is a lot of people. Anxiety disorders are highly treatable, yet only 36.9 of those suffering receive treatment. It's too low. It's too low. I think it should at least be half, but all of that, that doesn't really, like where you are, where you live, family background, because there are still people out here that think that seeking therapy or help for your mental is still like a dishonorable thing. So, that also has a lot of influence with it too. People with an anxiety disorder are 3 to 5 times more likely to go to the doctor and 6 more likely to be hospitalized for psychiatric disorders than those who do not suffer from anxiety disorder. Wow. Anxiety disorders develop from a complex set of risk factors, including genetics, brain chemistry, personality, and life events. All right, so it all depends on the person. Anxiety and depression. So if you don't know, we read a lovely article on depression a while ago, and that video is on YouTube. If you would like to check it out, it's right here. I'll leave it right here for you. But we're talking about anxiety today. It's not uncommon for someone with anxiety disorder to also suffer from depression or vice versa. Nearly one half of those diagnosed with depression are also diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. Okay, I didn't know that. That's very new. So that actually ties into what we were talking about last week. That's very nice. Facts and statistics. Generalized anxiety disorders, GAD. GAD affects 6.8 million adults, or 3.1% of the U.S. population, yet only 43.2% are receiving treatment. Women are twice as likely to be affected as men. GAD often co-occurs with major depression. Okay. So a little bit of the same, right? Because it's also said that depression was more likely to, or women are twice as more likely to develop depression than men. So that's also very true here. Very nice. Panic disorder. PD affects 6 million adults, or 2.7 in the U.S. population. Women are twice as more likely to be affected as men. Okay, social anxiety disorder. SAD affects 15 million adults, or 7.1 of the U.S. population. SAD is equally common among men and women and typically begins around age 13. According to a 2007 ADAA survey, 36% of the 36% of people with social anxiety disorder report experiencing symptoms for 10 or more years before seeking help. Yeah, that checks out. Definitely, I think I'm in that boat. Not exactly 10 years, about 6, but yeah, because I figured out I had something was going on when I was like around 12 or 13. Didn't get help until I was about 18, 19. So very good. Very, very, if anybody's listening, yeah, you should do it. Definitely do it. It doesn't have to be like a whole psychiatric thing. Sometimes all you really need is just for someone to talk to you and someone to be competent enough to tell you what is going on. And like I know there is also this thing where like you'll be self-aware of the things that piss you off or the things that make you mad, and then you go to a therapist and then you explain it to them the same way they would probably explain it to you, just with less like verbiage, and they're like, well, I can't do anything for you. That is not their fault. If anything, you should still be going to them so that they can give you the coping mechanisms that you don't have. Because if you're telling them, oh, I already know that about myself, I know that already, then fine. Then let me give you this coping mechanism to ensure that you can like fight this. Because if you're telling me, because knowing what your trigger is already half of the battle. That's already 50% of it done. The other 50% is you taking the initiative into making sure that it doesn't like rule your life. So whatever that may be, like you may like, I don't know, anxiety. It usually depends. Like take a couple deep breaths. Always have some cold water with you. Sanitize your hands. Wash your hands. Maybe you keep a snack on you. Have somebody that you can call. You know, things like that. Like that will really go a long way. Specific phobias. Specific phobias affect 19.3 million adults, or 9.1%, or 19.3. Okay, I read right. Or 9.1% of the U.S. population. Women are twice as more likely to be affected than men. Symptoms typically begin in childhood. The average age of onset is 7 years old. Obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, are closely related to anxiety disorder, which some may experience at the same time, along with depression. Stress. Everyone experiences stress and anxiety at one time or another. The difference between them is that stress is a response to a threat in a situation. Anxiety is a reaction to stress. I'm going to read that again. The difference between them is that, I'm going to read the whole thing again because it's so short. Everyone experiences stress and anxiety at one time or another. The difference between them is that stress is a response to a threat in a situation. Anxiety is a reaction to stress. It's very interesting. Did not know that. I wouldn't have put it that way. Obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. OCD affects 2.5 million adults, or 1.2% of the U.S. population. Women are 3 times more likely to be affected than men. The average age of onset is 19, with 25% of cases occurring by age 14. 1/3 of affecting adults first experience symptoms in childhood. Wow. PT, or post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, affects 7.7 million adults, or 3.6% of the U.S. population. Before I keep reading, I'm going to be honest. I feel like that number is way higher than 7.7 million. I feel like it's kind of small. Women are 5 times more likely to be affected than men. So I think that kind of ties in. This is why. If you're wondering why that girl just stopped talking to you, she's not trying to get traumatized by your dumb shit. She's stopping it before you do it. Rape is the most likely trigger of PTSD. 65% of men and 45.9% of women who are raped will develop the disorder. Yeah. Childhood sexual abuse is a strong predictor of the lifetime likelihood of developing PTSD. Goodness gracious. That was a little hard to read. Related illnesses. Any people with an anxiety disorder also have a co-occurring disorder or physical illness. What? Many people with an anxiety disorder also have a co-occurring disorder or physical illness, which can make their symptoms worse and recovery more difficult. It's essentially to be treated as both disorders. Obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, and post-traumatic and PTSD are closely related to anxiety disorders, which some say are... Did I read that already? Interesting. I felt like I read that. Yeah, yeah, it's right here. Huh. So, let's see. We got any more? This article is very clean. Just strict facts, helpline. You can Google, do a Google, find your therapist. That's nice. Gives you a very clean rundown of what it is. I love articles that do that because it just makes it so much easier. You don't have to jump through hoops. You don't have to subscribe to some stupid ass like news channel that you're never going to listen to, but they send you 5 million emails. It's just good, clean info with more info to your like specific, thing. And then it talks about children, other adults, treatment plans. Oh, just good fucking article, man. God damn. Okay. Here we are. Children. Anxiety disorder affects 31.9% of adolescents between 13 and 18 years old. Research shows that untreated teenagers with anxiety disorder are at higher risk to perform poorly in school, miss out on important social experiences, and engage in substance abuse. It's very interesting. I that checks out. Definitely checks out. Definitely checks out. When you grow up and you see some of your friends like just do things that they never did before. Like when one of your friends all of a sudden just really likes bars, you know what I mean? And you're kind of just scratching your head like, when did that happen? You never know. Anxiety disorder also often occurs with another disorder such as depression, eating disorders, and attention deficit slash hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. Okay. Okay. Older adults. Anxiety is as common among older adults as the young. Is the most common, or GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, is the most common anxiety disorder among older adults through anxiety, or among older adults through anxiety disorders in this population are frequently associated with traumatic events such as a fall or acute illness. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, falling when you're old is no joke. Shit is crazy. I will not be looking forward to that. I'm like 6'4". Yeah, that's gonna suck ass. It's gonna suck. That's gonna suck ass. Um, Treatment options. Anxiety disorders are treatable, and the vast majority of people with an anxiety disorder can be helped with professional care. Several standard approaches have proven effective: therapy, medication, complementary and alternative treatments, trans transcranial magnetic stimulation, shock therapy. Shock therapy. That's what that is. Shock therapy. What the fuck? We should read an article on lobotomy. Yes. That sounds fucking awesome. Wait, no, I'm sorry. We can't do that. we You see how excited I got? We have 2 more articles to read. Or we got 1 more article to read. Wait, what the fuck? I pulled up the same article or what? Oh, Jesus. Okay, hold on. Okay, but next time, if we're gonna read it right now. After this episode is done, or this is over, jumping right into that shit. Oh yeah. Okay. See, you see how it just made me like open a what the fuck is this? It's got ads everywhere. AI has medically reviewed by, not going to try to say his name, but he's got his MBA, MS, FAFP written. Okay. Let's see. Let's check out your article. I'll be the judge. Anxiety, or what to know. What to know about anxiety. Anxiety is a common emotion, and it can cause, I don't know why I did that. It can cause physical symptoms such as shaking and sweating. When anxiety becomes persistent or excessive, a person may have an anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorders are a category of mental health diagnoses that involve excessive nervousness, fear, apprehension, and worry. These symptoms can interfere with a person's quality of life but are very treatable. The article discusses the symptoms, causes, and treatments for anxiety. Right. Anxiety is a feeling of fear, tension, or worry that occurs as a response to a real or perceived threats. When a person feels afraid, it triggers the body's stress response, also known as fight, flight, or freeze. This can involve cognitive, physical, and behavioral changes such as increased heart rate or breathing. This response can help humans escape or avoid danger by supplying more oxygen and blood to the muscles. However, people can also feel anxiety about things that are not dangerous, such as important events or decisions, public speaking, social situations. Feeling anxious does not always mean a person has a mental health condition. Many people occasionally feel anxious from time to time. So it doesn't have to it doesn't have to be a disorder. Sometimes you can just feel nervous, you know? Going on a date, going to the gym for the first time, getting that new job. But when anxiety becomes frequent out of proportion to a situation, when anxiety becomes frequent out of proportion to a situation or persists after the situation is over, it can be a sign of anxiety disorder. I'm sorry, I just really didn't like that. I don't know. Usually when you see comments like commas, it's just one word, not a whole lunch line and then another lunch line. I don't know, my bad. But when anxiety becomes frequent, we already read that. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, ADAA, this article is bomb. Around 40 million people in the United States have an anxiety disorder. It is the most common type of mental illness in the country. However, only 36.9% of people with an anxiety disorder receive treatment. Nice. Symptoms of anxiety. The main symptoms of anxiety is a feeling of worry. Other symptoms can include elevated heart rate, faster breathing, irritability, relentlessness, muscle tension, difficulty concentrating, difficulty falling or staying asleep. If a person has severe anxiety, they may experience a panic attack, which causes an intense feeling of dread or panic that reaches a peak before subsiding. Symptoms may include rapid breathing, pounding heart, sweating, shaking or trembling, a feeling of impending doom or lack of control. Mhm. How and when these symptoms manifest will depend on the type of anxiety a person has. Types of anxiety. So this is kind of what we were looking for, right? The Diagnosis and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, 5 edition, text reverse, DSM 5, DSM 5 TR, includes several instinct anxiety disorders, or distinct anxiety disorders, sorry. In previous editions of the DSM 5, DSM 5 TR, I didn't know that there was a TR, and DSM 5, let's see, obsessive compulsive disorder, post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and acute stress disorder also fell into the category. However, as of 2013, the manual no longer groups these diagnoses together. The anxiety disorders are as follows: generalized anxiety disorder, GAD. We read about that one in this article right here, the ADAA. People with GAD have persistent or pervasive feelings of anxiety or dread. Oh, I thought this was like an anxiety. Man, that really got me. Oh, it's just for dopamine. Oh, you know what dopamine is? Reading an article. That's what it is. And then getting a stupid ass pump at the gym. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Where the fuck? Where am I? What? The manual no longer groups. Okay. Generalized. Okay. People with GAD feelings of anxiety have specific focus. It is it is not a response to a stressful situation that then goes away once it's over, but a general feeling of worry that may affect many aspects of everyday life. A person with GAD may worry about lots of things and find it difficult to relax or get to sleep. Panic disorder. People with panic disorder experience frequent and unexpected panic attacks. A person may have specific triggers or they may not know the case. It's always really hard when you can't put your finger on what's wrong with you. It's always ass. Specific phobias. Specific phobias are fear of particular objects or situations such as heights or spiders. Unlike other anxiety disorders, phobias focus on one specific trigger. A person with a phobia might know their fear is illogical or extreme, but remain unable to control it when they encounter the trigger. Agoraphobia. This is a fear and avoidance of places, events, or situations from which it may be difficult to escape, or where help would not be available to emergencies. I feel like I don't know. I kind of feel like that's valid. I feel like that's valid. What does agora mean? Oh, what does that mean? Assembly. People often misunderstand this condition as a phobia with often spaces or outdoors, but this is not the case. Some common situations a person with agoraphobia may have or may be scared include using elevators, using public transport, and leaving home in some cases. It's really hard. There's a lot of them. Let's go. Social anxiety disorder. Social anxiety is a fear of negative judgment from others. A person with social anxiety may feel others are evaluating everything that they do, what they will be or do, or that they will be embarrassed or humiliated if they interact with people. This can cause a person to avoid social interactions or only certain types of interactions, such as talking with strangers. Additional signs of social anxiety can include or self-consciousness, finding it difficult to make eye contact, uh, speaking in a quiet or soft voice, feeling as though the mind has gone blank in social situations. Separation anxiety disorder. This one's really big. Separation anxiety, I think, is one of those anxiety disorders that is also more affected or affect women more than men. I could be wrong on that, but let's look it up. Let's look it up. What was the exact verbiage? Separation anxiety. Slightly more often than men. Okay. While it's more prevalent in children, it does affect adults. I'm thinking of abandonment or something. I don't. Okay, because this is more of a child thing. In young children, okay, separation anxiety is more common in young children, but can affect all ages. Okay. Okay. Interesting. I think I'm thinking of like abandonment, something like that. Oh my god. My bitch so bad she can't even go outside. Hey, what's good, gang? We're reading about anxiety. Yeah. Yeah. Reading about anxiety, bro. This is what I like to do in my spare time. Like to fucking write and read articles. How fucking boring. Having the time of my life right now. I got ice cream too. Having a whole party. I think I've been streaming for like 3 hours. They used to have that low key. Oh yeah, I feel it, bro. Yeah, like 3 hours. All right, so let's see. You had separation anxiety with Kenny? What? Until you spread your wings? Hell yeah, bro. That's crazy. Let's see. Selective mutism. Some children experience this form of anxiety in which they cannot speak in certain places or contexts, even though they have the ability to do so. That's interesting. Causes of anxiety. Occasional anxiety is often a response to unnecessary or to uncertainty about the future or worry about seeing something that happened in the past. For example, a person may feel anxious about taking a test or worry they have made a decision they might regret. The causes of anxiety disorder are more complex and involve several factors. The United Kingdom charity Mind lists several psychological factors. Current situation. Life events that cause ongoing stress may contribute to the development of an anxiety disorder. Examples of these include financial struggles, being under pressure at work, or experiencing discrimination. Past trauma. Traumatic events are excuse me, traumatic events are incidents that can cause an actual or perceived threat to a person's safety. Even if these events happened a long time ago, they can still affect people years later. Substance use. Some substances, such as stimulant drugs, can cause anxiety. Other stimulants may cause anxiety when a person experiences withdrawal. Some physical factors include brain structure or function. People with anxiety disorders may have a heightened amygdala.
Oh, amygdala. Oh, amygdala. Have mercy on the poor bastard.
Amygdala, medical factors. Sometimes anxiety is the product of physical illness, such as a neurological disorder or hormonal imbalance. It can also be a side effect of some medications or result in experiencing long term pain or other symptoms. Here we go. Treatment to anxiety. This is like, I think this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Or, this is the moment I've been waiting for. Like, what the fuck did we do here? Okay. Treatment for anxiety often consists of psychotherapy, medication, or a combination of both. Self care. Sometimes a person can ease anxiety at home without clinical supervision. Things that may help a person cope, including relaxation techniques, meditation, physical exercise, my favorite, getting enough sleep, working on reducing the use of caffeine or other stimulants, talking with a trusted loved one. However, this may be effective for middle or short-term anxiety. Those with more severe or ongoing anxiety may benefit from combining these strategies with therapy and medication. Psychotherapy. A first-line treatment of anxiety is psychotherapy or talk therapy. There are many types of talk therapy. Each one aims to help a person understand their thoughts, beliefs, and experiences that may be contributing to persistent anxiety and ways to change our coping or changing or coping with them. I lost my place. Some examples include cognitive behavioral therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, exposure therapy, psychodynamic therapy. What's that? Type of talk therapy that explores how past events or past experiences, particularly those from earlier in childhood, can influence current thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Okay. Damn. Okay. There are many talk therapies. Very nice. There are also distinct forms of therapy that can help children. Okay. Medications. Some medications can reduce the symptoms of anxiety, making the condition more manageable. Some people take medications to make it easier to begin therapy, while others may take them on an ongoing basis. Some examples of medication a doctor may suggest include antidepressants. Some antidepressants can help with anxiety. Serotonin reuptake inhibitors, fluzentine, cataprom. When I had a therapist a long time ago, it was recommended that I should go on antidepressants, and I said no. I said no twice, and then they stopped asking me. The first time they asked me, I said no, and they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "I want to be able to handle my own thoughts and emotions without needing to be medicated, like fuck." And then she's like, "Okay." And then the same person asked me again, like, "Why?" I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean, why? I already told you." So then I had to be firm about it. I'm like, "I'm not going to get hooked on drugs that you fucking people are going to give me. It's not going to happen." And then she never asked me again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying the drugs are addictive, but because I've never taken them, but if you need them, take them. But I felt like I didn't need them. They were trying to push them on me, and I said no. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sad, sure, but just teach me what to do when this happens, and then I'll be fine. I don't need a. Me personally, I felt like I had the strength of will to just, you know. There were some times where I felt like maybe I should take the doctor's advice, but overall, I think I made the right decision. Just never trying them. I have friends that take them, and they're very happy. I'm not denying it. I'm not to, like, it doesn't make you a weaker person. I like, just me personally, I thought that I didn't need them. If I thought that I needed them, I would have taken them. But I felt like I didn't need them. Love ice cream so much, chat. Hold on, I'm gonna kill this. So good. Shit smacked so fucking hard, bro. Yeah. Half baked or milk and cookies, bro. That's the one. Half baked and milk and cookies. Those are two flavors that will forever slap hard. Okay, let's get the fuck out of here. Beta breakers. These drugs do not stop anxiety, but they do reduce the physical symptoms associated with it, such as rapid heartbeat. Rapid heartbeat. Why did I say it like that? People people can take them over a short period of time, or only occasionally for anxiety-inducing situations. Okay. Benzodiazepines. These drugs act immediately to reduce anxiety, but they can quickly cause dependence and or addiction. As a result, doctors only prescribe them in short-term use. Diazepam or Valium is a common benzo. Okay. We've been reading a lot. I'm just got to stretch that brain muscle. Preventing anxiety. It is not possible to prevent anxiety entirely. Many people experience anxiety when they are going through a challenging time. However, research have suggested that building resilience to stress may reduce the likelihood of anxiety disorder. A 2020 review of past research highlights several strategies that may help to reduce the risk of affecting a person's gene activity, such as getting regular exercise, practicing mindfulness, having a supportive family or environment. The research is still early strategies or stages, though. Other strategies may help, like such as reducing caffeine intake, maintaining a balanced, nutritious diet. That shit, that I need to change. That shit scares the fuck out of me. Oh my god. It's a fucking party. Bro, yeah, he was in here. He was in here talking. Bro, I had to come yap a little bit. Keep regular sleep pattern. Yeah, good luck with that. Avoiding alcohol and cannabis. No to the cannabis. I'll fuck alcohol. Yeah, I need my weed. And other recreational drugs. Checking with a health professional before using over-the-counter medications or herbal medicinals, remedies, whatever. Okay, was this article helpful? Yes. This article changed my life. This article was informative. Very nice. Article was very informative. I had a great time. So, we just got done reading the ADAA, Anxiety Depression Association of America, their article on transitional oh no, that's something else. This was anxiety disorder and depression. Yeah, hey, so one of the things that's recommended for anxiety disorder is transcranial magnetic stimulation. Transcranial magnetic stimulation. Now, if that's what I think it is, yes, it's shock therapy. That's crazy. It's crazy. Or is it not shock therapy? Am I being like am I being an asshole right now? Let's read about it. Yeah, that's how these things go, bro. I'm literally just in here reading. We out here reading. These fucks in Discord? No shot. Oh, you know what? I don't give a fuck anymore. Whew. Awesome, bro. Thank you guys for coming. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Hit that like button, smack that subscribe button, and I'll be back here. That concludes our 3-part series with loneliness, anxiety, and depression, the 3 things that are currently holding society back. Thank you for listening. If you've stayed this long, I think that's super hard. You're just the bomb. You're the bomb.com. This is why I picked you to be a hunter, because I knew you'd get the job done. The next time you hear my voice, it's gonna. Well, I'm all over the place, I guess. So, the next time we do a reading, it's going to be on lobotomies. Yeah, I'm so fucking ready for that, bro. Holy shit. Okay, don't forget to bring an umbrella. I'll see you guys next time.
Can we still be friends? I won't let anyone in. You'll never see me